just took that myself. Alright, cocaine, let's go. Damn, bro, it's no fun. The NBA getting gone. Oh my God. I just saw.
That's what they doing, people. They acting like these singers. I ain't gonna sit still until I got a situation, a subject. I need a beat. I need to produce it. It's gonna be all right. Brand new Beretta, can't wait to let it go. Walk up in my label like, where the check go? Yeah, I said it, wouldn't that be with the left? Oh, shut the fuck up. Text from a centerfold, I ain't reply. Let her know I read it though. Voicemail say she ready though. Niggas know I'm credible. Ain't no pussies on the pedestal. Got my foot on the safe, Benz pedal doing 90 on the bridge. Like, nigga, you already know. And if you don't know, now you know, now you know. Switching up the angles. Now I'm in the rows with illuminated the angel. 4 or 5 chains, man, it go get tangled. My nigga Ben said the first nail gon' change. Change for the better. Get it, then get up. That's my vendetta. Keep the shit together. Goddamn, we ain't even got a scale. Cocaine cool, we ain't even got a scale. Used to flip apps, now that old plug murk. Ain't a damn thing changed, you can still get to work.
Just hold on one moment and someone will be right with you. We're sorry. Your patient number indicates you have numbers no longer in service.
Say this, say this.
I remember how I went to Louis V with half. Watch you spend $10,000 on a glass. I never ever thought I'd see that in my life. Now I'm in the East, cause it wasn't getting right, man.
I was on TV making 50 racks a year.
After letting mama out, the shit would disappear. I am not a man, I can't do this on my own. So I started asking them if they would put me on. And they did put me on. Yeah, they did put me on. Now we in the basement and we working on the phone. Now we in the basement and we working on the phone, man. Now I'm blowing up. Working on the phones. Now we in the basement and we working on the stop with Jimmy. All I had to do was just go and get it. And now we blowing up. Blowing up. They need a hoe. Blowing up. My niggas really need a hoe.
Don't leave empty open! Way to grab it!
Yeah, you can't guard me! Who's watching here? D up on MP! Shut up! Shut up! Oh, yeah! Hey, swing it! Yo! I got ball!
Hey, don't let him shoot! Keep on him! Hey, get on MP!
Who's got ball? Hey, cover me! Hey, hands up!
Shot!
Man one! Give me that!
Hey, yo, right there! What's that, Hoppy?
Check MP! Oh, wow! Watch MP at the arc!
Let's go, boy! Here!
don't know how I took that up. Doing some stupid shit. Look at 2K, bro. Man, wait. You gonna do this? Okay. What the say, bro? What's your obsession with taking that shit up, bro? Just one pass. Just one pass out. Get banned over. This dude. was selling, but I got my stops though. Here we go. 4 turnovers.
I picked the software engineering program because they pay very well. It's a fast-paced industry. The boot camp allowed me to keep my job, honestly, and continue working. My end goal was to be able to live in a cool city and have enough money to do fun things and enjoy my life, and I just didn't see.
There's no wrong way to play a video game, but Rockstar definitely didn't expect you to play GTA 5 like this. Just using intended mechanics, it is possible to break the story of GTA 5, doing things that should not be possible. I have spent years finding the best examples to show you today. The mission Meltdown sees Merryweather attack Amanda and Tracy, with Michael barely managing to keep them alive. At the end of the mission, Michael understandably sends his family away so they can hide out until the heat dies down.
I asked Amanda and the kids to move out for a few days. They came after my family.
Strangely, despite the need to lie low, Amanda is still perfectly willing to come back to the house for a round of tennis.
Tennis, come on, let's play.
After the game, of course, Amanda disappears and presumably goes back into hiding. After you complete the mission Friends Reunited, if you switch to Michael, this will immediately start the mission Fame or Shame, where Trevor and Michael come face to face for the first time in 9 years. This mission automatically starts so that Michael is not accessible in free roam. This is to prevent the two from meeting prior to the mission. However, if you specifically kill Michael at the start of Fame or Shame, it will respawn you at the hospital as Michael. Now technically before the mission where Trevor and Michael reunite, you can bring them together, making their eventual confrontation in Fame or Shame make little sense. Not only will they not acknowledge their association, they seem to not want to be hostile with each other at all. After the mission card Libre, Trevor and Michael are meant to lie low because they've stolen Martin Madrazo's wife. They are not meant to go into the city as Martin will track them down to kill them.
My spotter saw you coming into the city, Michael. You will be dead soon.
But despite this, Franklin can set up a hangout with Michael.
Wanna hang out or something?
Yeah, great.
Good, I'll see you soon, man.
Good to see you, man.
Good hanging out with you, man.
Is it?
Well, I hope so.
Martin's henchmen, however, are nowhere to be found. On the mission Complications, you sneak into Michael's house as Franklin. When you reach the garage, of course, you're meant to take the car, but you can actually run outside if you desire. What's funny is that the garage will continue to open for you as if you own the home. At the
the end of the mission Friends Reunited, Trevor gets to Los Santos, but he has yet to confront Michael or even meet Franklin. Despite having not met Franklin, if you use Franklin during the day to shoot rockets at Trevor's safe house, Trevor will text message Franklin asking him to stop. This of course makes no sense in the plot, for how could Trevor have Franklin's number? On the mission Repossession, Franklin is awarded an Employee of the Month plaque. This can still be seen in Simeon's office as you go off with Lamar to repossess the bike. However, if you mission fail and leave the mission, the plaque will change to show Simeon instead of Franklin. This is of course the modified plaque that Simeon makes for himself after Franklin betrays him, but obviously it shouldn't be here. Given that you have yet to even complete repossession, Franklin hasn't betrayed Simeon. I guess Simeon had it made early, just on the off chance that Franklin betrayed him in the future.
It wasn't easy picking a winner.
The obvious approach to the big score requires you to drill a huge hole into the side of a bank. You'd think that this would take some time to repair, but in reality, before you even complete the mission, if you return to the area with Michael, you can see that it has already been filled as if nothing had ever happened. During Fame or Shame, Trevor reunites with Michael, but he has not met Franklin at this stage. However, if you set up a hangout with Michael and the pair, they will act as if they know each other.
Hey, Frank, let's do something.
Yeah, all right.
T, it's me. Yeah, I'm meeting up with Franklin. You want to hang out?
Just love to, Mikey.
Cool.
Hey, man.
Let's go. Ladies, let's go get our nails done.
So what were you two like when y'all was kids?
Well, Michael always was a bit of a pussy. Yeah, Trevor was always a lot of a psycho.
This is fun.
Enjoy yourself.
I'll tell you, kid, whatever you take away from our time together, take away this. You both hate me. You both do. I see it now.
Oh, man, no, we don't. Nobody hate you, man. That ain't true.
It was good hanging out, gents.
For real, man. See you soon.
Just like old times, Mikey.
On the mission friend request, Michael watches a live presentation where he then takes out the CEO. The illusion of it being live is shattered if you wait until nighttime before going to Michael's house to watch the presentation. Despite it being nighttime, the so-called live presentation will still be showing in the day.
Oh! Oh, Jesus! Whoa! Whoa!
As I'm sure most of you know, after you complete the first assassination mission, Franklin gets a new home. However, this does not occur until after you receive Lester's phone call, so it is possible to get inside Franklin's old home before the call can initiate.
Hey, it's done.
I know. Good work.
All right, well, shit. Let me know about the next thing.
And we needed someone to live there for tax purposes, so some guys are moving your stuff in.
Oh, shit.
It's yours. Enjoy it. 3671 Wispy Mound Drive.
Obviously, those guys are very good at their job. Now that Franklin is in here, he is locked in, unless of course he dies or you switch character. It is possible to do the mission long stretch very early in the game, but you can actually leave it until just before the Blitz play heist if you really want to. This means that it is possible to do it after Franklin has already moved out of the house with Aunt Denise, making the cutscene dialogue no longer make sense.
I mean, what the hell going on here?
Wait a minute, Franklin, what are you doing here?
I live here. This half my house, too.
So you say?
Even after Franklin moves out of Aunt Denise's house, if you sneak around it, he will occasionally text you asking you why you're doing so. Additionally, if you fire rockets at this old safe house, Franklin will text you and respond as if he still lived there. During the jewel store heist, Michael and his crew break open a bunch of cases and steal a bunch of jewelry. At the end of the heist, once you've lost the cops, there is no fail condition for going back to the jewel store to see your handiwork. Finally arriving back at the jewel store, the alarms will still be going off, but the entire jewel store will be restored. The cases will now be bulletproofed and they'll be completely restocked and repaired. At the end of the mission called Libre, Trevor drives away with Michael and Patricia to go into hiding, and you are forced to switch to Franklin. However, if you use Franklin to return to your previous location, Trevor and Patricia will be gone, and Michael will be driving around by himself.
Hey, man. Weird seeing you here. Can we go get a drink or something?
I can't right now, dude.
See you soon then, man.
It is possible for Trevor and Michael to meet before you even complete Trevor's first mission. This is achieved by first going into the mission Mr. Phillips with autosave on and skipping through the cutscene to get access to Trevor. You then go to the ammunition and buy something to trigger an autosave. Then by loading this autosave, the game takes you out of the mission and tries to put you into free mode as Trevor. However, as Trevor was not unlocked before the mission, the game gets confused and loads for a very long time before eventually giving you control of Michael. Your character swap wheel will now show Trevor even though you cannot switch to him, but more oddly, if you walk away, Trevor will also spawn.
You getting off on this, little man?
Trevor unfortunately doesn't acknowledge Michael, but this can change if you switch to Franklin and drive to their location. Making sure to only get close to Michael, he will offer a hangout which should be declined.
I can't, man. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I'll see you soon.
I just hope you don't also watch me sleep. You want to grab a beer?
Trevor will now not only acknowledge Michael, but he will also offer him a hangout. Unfortunately, whether or not you accept, Trevor will just walk away.
Now there's a plan.
You go grab us a ride.
Following him will have the same result that following any of the main characters always does, which is pretty funny given that this save puts you back before Mr. Phillips, so Trevor technically shouldn't know Michael is alive.
Are you following me, cowboy? I think I like you better when you hid from me.
We're gonna list these 10 permanently banned channels, from smallest to largest, explaining what they did, beginning with the most unlikable channel in YouTube history called It's Owen. You might recognize the channel for his notoriously terrible intros.
Like this video and subscribe right now, or this spider will put on your ear whilst you're asleep tonight.
Always placed after shameless clickbait like Charlie D'Amelio is dying today. On top of this, Owen relentlessly clickbaited fake Mr. Beast scenarios. However, after Technoblade's passing on the 30th of June 2022, It's Owen took his scumbaggery to a point of no return. He'd upload a video titled Mr. Beast Final Goodbye to Technoblade, with the introduction stating this.
This is Mr. Beast's final goodbye to Technoblade and their last time playing Minecraft together.
Although the video showed nothing more than Technoblade playing Minecraft and a completely fabricated Mr. Beast tweet. The video received over 800,000 views in under 24 hours, yet with a top comment reading, "The amount of disrespect this guy has is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Complete and utter shame. He was about to face some serious backlash."
Just awful garbage. I have more respect for shit stains in a gas station urinal than I do for Owen.
YouTubers clickbaiting Technoblade's death for views has made me lose all faith in humanity. It's just so messed up, which is followed by another tweet from Owen himself. At Team YouTube, my YouTube channel with 3.5 million subs just got terminated. Please help me get it back. I'm so depressed right now, I don't know what to do. After YouTube then responded, Owen doubled down by stating, "I never received any community guideline strikes, so I didn't know what I was doing was violating the guidelines. If I received just one strike, that would have been enough for me to realize what I did was wrong. Please give me another chance. I'm so depressed right now, it's my only income." Owen then made another 2 tweets displaying how desperately he wanted his account back, although Team YouTube can conclude their thread by stating, "Update, we've reviewed your account and confirmed that your channel was correctly suspended due to explicit content. Note that you will not be able to access or create any other YouTube accounts, although while everybody was happy to witness Owen's ban, Steve Wood's termination was a bit more controversial. Steve had always been on YouTube's radar for his unconventional style of content, eating challenges, prank videos, and beginning in 2021 sponsored gambling uploads, for which he was being paid more than $1 million a month. It's therefore no surprise that Steve lent into this type of content, even picking up a sponsorship from Stake, until he made one simple error, undoing everything that he'd worked for. YouTube has an extremely strange rule where you're allowed to say the name of any any gambling website, but you can't show the URL of the website with the .com included. Well, in June 2022, Steve uploaded a gambling video like any other, although the URL had been left in as his editor forgot to blur it. Despite Steve having no strikes on any of his channels, YouTube made the choice to permanently delete all of them.
I'm allowed to say I'm playing the website, but they would go to deleting my entire main channel because on my second channel, it wasn't fully blurred.
After which Steve said this.
They called me the day of deletion, and it was a girl. She seemed pretty stoked I was getting deleted, and I was like, seemed happy, and I was with me and my editor, and we're like, bro, like, she's happy.
As a result, the Nelk boys were warned about filming with him.
They basically said, like, your channel's gonna be deleted if Steve's in your videos.
Which might be harsher treatment than that given to Leafy. Between 2013 and 2016, Leafy built a reputation for uploading edgy content, which flowed well with YouTube's zeitgeist at the time. However, between 2017 and 2020, Leafy went on hiatus before returning with a pretty controversial approach. He'd upload a video titled Content Nuke Pokimane, in which he'd offer pretty reasonable criticism.
80% of Pokimane streams is just her watching videos, adding actually nothing to what she's watching whatsoever.
However, he'd then go on to upload 12 different videos, clickbaiting Pokimane in the title and thumbnail, while talking about unrelated topics in the video itself, such as finance and investing.
Of his last 15 videos, 12 of them were on Pokimane. Having 12 videos all insulting Pokimane in the title and thumbnail, that's viewed as harassment by YouTube.
Despite having no prior strikes on his channel, Leafy woke up to a permanent ban for creating content designed to harass, bully, or threaten. He'd take to Twitter stating, "Morning at Team YouTube, my channel was suspended yesterday. Curious if there's anything I could do to get it reinstated, or if there's any statement on this you could give on this." However, despite his tweet, Leafy seemed pretty unconcerned about having his channel deleted.
If I am gonna be banned, like, so be it. The website is shit. What else is there like, there's nothing else that needed to be said.
Pokimane took to Twitter stating, "I know I'm gonna get asked this, so I'd like to clarify I had nothing to do with Leafy's ban," before adding, "Don't want my silence to leave room for assumptions." Leafy's ban was bound to happen eventually. However, someone whose termination was a little more surprising was that of Kabi Lami. He gained 100 million TikTok followers in less than 5 months, and with YouTube launching their own shorts program, Kabi started posting across the two platforms. His notoriously funny skits exploded on YouTube as they had on TikTok, giving him over 800 million views and 2 million subscribers during his very first month on the platform. This was then followed by another 800 million views in the next month, and after only 4 months of uploading to YouTube, Kabi Lami had racked up 2.4 billion views and 5.2 million subscribers. He was then banned permanently. Why? Well, you see, this wasn't actually Kabi Lami. It was an impersonator who was simply reposting his content to YouTube. He'd gained 2.4 billion views before YouTube ever realized, and this wasn't the only account doing it. Only 5 days beforehand, YouTube had banned another Kabi Lami impersonator with 4.84 million subscribers, after which YouTube found a third impersonator who'd gained over 100 million views in a matter of days before they were also banned. As a result, Kabi began uploading content to his own official channel, which remains very much active, unlike J-Station. His termination began with a video titled "My Girlfriend Alexia Died, Rest in Paradise," in which he'd say the following.
Last night, we lost Alexia to a drunk driver, guys. She was on the way to pick up something for our video we were making on our second channel, Dream Team. She got it, guys.
As mentioned, J-Station's girlfriend had apparently died in a car crash, prompting him to upload another video visiting the spot where it supposedly happened.
It's okay, man. Everything's gonna be okay.
However, only 3 days later, J-Station began using his girlfriend's death to gain extra engagement.
As you guys know, my girlfriend Alexia just passed away in a tragic accident, guys. We're doing the Ouija board challenge on my dead girlfriend. Let's so like put it right now, guys. 1 like equals 1 prayer for Alexia, guys. Rest in peace.
Prompting some ordinary gamers to investigate if she'd even died at all.
No, I don't have anything by that name on the system. Nobody by that name specifically has suffered any form of death.
As a result of the video, Alexia came forward confirming that she hadn't actually died.
Jay faked my death. I felt sick to my stomach from the minute that he posted it.
Before going on to add that the couple had since broken up.
Like, the times that he was mean to me, it's just like, he was so mean, and I just don't know why.
Despite having having posted years worth of unsavory content, it seemed faking his girlfriend's death was a step too far, as YouTube would permanently delete J-Station's channel on the 12th of March 2021. J-Station responded by stating, "I didn't even do anything wrong, and I made videos all year getting no controversy. However, when these delusions failed to bring back his channel, he concluded, I'm going to sue them. Crazy. Anyways, I'm done. Nothing I can do now," which is the same conclusion drawn by 7 Supergirls. The channel began in 2008 and featured 7 girls for the 7 days of the week.
If you want free skincare, keep watching.
New subscribers receive up to 6 free skincare products with
They upload everything from skits to day in the lives, amassing over 5.6 billion views by 2018, when the channel took a pretty dark turn. The channel was owned by a 55-year-old named Ian Rylett, who on the 17th of August 2018 was accused of acting inappropriately with one of the 7 Supergirls. Roughly 7 months later, Ian pleaded guilty to the incident and wasn't only sentenced to 3 months in prison, but was also legally banned from working on YouTube. As a result, 7 Supergirls was terminated on the 12th of March 2019, at the time being the most subscribed channel ever to receive a permanent ban. That would be until 9 months later, when YouTube's scummiest copycat was banned for stealing content. The Indonesian channel named Kalon Sarjana had gained over 13 million subscribers by employing a highly unethical strategy that essentially find already successful videos spoken in English before copying the thumbnail in its entirety, adding their own watermark, and uploading it to Indonesian YouTube, where the original creator had no way of finding it. However, all of this changed in November 2019, when British YouTuber JT posted his own upload titled, "YouTuber with 12 million subs steals my video."
This channel had the audacity to steal my thumbnail, put an emoji on it, and then put their watermark on it. They put their watermark on my thumbnail and claimed it as theirs. This YouTuber has stolen my thumbnail, stolen all the information from my video. They literally watched my video and took everything. They took the screenshots. They gave me no credit for my own DMs. This guy has literally just ripped me off completely, okay?
JT then highlighted another crazy fact.
This guy is the biggest YouTuber in Indonesia, and he's stealing my stuff. He steals from people so much, okay, that he's got in his description, "For copyright matters, please contact us at this email." He did this because he knows he's stealing content.
Leading the Indonesian media to talk about Kalon's unethical practices. A YouTube account from an Indonesian with more than 12 million subscribers has been accused of stealing other people's content, with the article attaching a side-by-side comparison of some of the videos they'd stolen. Having been exposed by his own country, Kalon wrote an apology on Twitter translating to, "We from the entire extended family of Kalon Sarjana apologize to the YouTube channel JT for using ideas, thumbnails, and video prototyping without permission before posting a second tweet reading, 'Thank you for all your corrections. Hopefully the things that have happened will truly become a lesson for us to not make any mistake in the future.' However, it was already too late. JT and 2 other YouTubers who had their videos stolen chose to simultaneously copyright strike Kalon Sarjana, terminating the channel on the grounds of multiple third-party claims of copyright infringement regarding material the user posted.
He was a fraud. He deserved it. You steal content, you pay the price. That's just how it is.
Although Indonesia wasn't the only country to lose their most subscribed channel, as Turkey's biggest was also banned at around the same time. The channel began with 2
sexual scenarios.
The motive behind the videos was pretty damn obvious.
Here's one from 1 month ago. 117 million views.
Although with so many people watching, parents began to talk about it.
There is a terrifying new trend in middle schoolers that I need to tell you about.
Prompting advertisers to pull their ads from the site. "We are shocked and appalled to see that our adverts have appeared alongside such exploitative and inappropriate content," said a Mars spokesperson in a statement. "We've taken the decision to immediately suspend all our online advertising on YouTube and Google globally, therefore forcing YouTube to take a stance against these sketchy videos." Only 4 days after Mars and Adidas pulled their ads, YouTube removed over 150,000 Elsagate videos, turned off comments on more than 625,000 videos, and terminated more than 270 accounts, one of which being Turkey's biggest channel with over 15 million subs. Although no termination is stranger than that of Manoj Parahar. The channel was included amongst hundreds of banned multi-million subscriber Indian Shorts channels who all employed the exact same strategy. They'd find Western videos that had been successful in English, cut them down into shorts and provide a Hindi voiceover, essentially re-uploading other people's content with their their language being the only difference. In an article discussing these channels, one owner stated, "I would pick any video and do a voiceover. I realized that if we do voiceovers in a short story, then we're bound to get views, so I just stuck to that," although this wasn't the end of the article. Over the past few months, he claims 8 such fact channels have been banned. The rate at which YouTube grew their channels, it's also taking them away at the same rate. Many of these fact channels add voiceovers to content belonging to other creators, and that it's important for creators to only upload videos that they have made or are authorized to use. The biggest of these channels, Mental Paraha, was able to gain 20 million subscribers in just over a year, before YouTube also smashed it with the ban hammer. However, even then, Super Jojo Nursery Rhymes was banned with even more. Super Jojo caught copying Cocomelon. This Reddit post referenced a Cartoon Brew article reading, "Super Jojo shamelessly free rides on Cocomelon's success by closely copying and exploiting every possible element of the Cocomelon channel, sometimes even frame by frame," which was displayed in the previously mentioned Reddit post, where user Billy Disney showed just how badly the copying really was. As a result, in August 2021, Cocomelon launched a lawsuit against Super Jojo, claiming that the defendant has built its Super Jojo YouTube business by blatantly copying Cocomelon. 1 month after this, a new article was published reading, "YouTube terminates Cocomelon rival Super Jojo channel with 22 million subscribers, citing that they had received multiple third-party claims of copyright infringement." Super Jojo's ban lasted for 2 months, before the channel was then restored. However, this wasn't the end of the story. The channel's growth took a nosedive following their return to YouTube, and in July 2023, a jury has decided that Baby Bus committed copyright infringement with its animated series Super Jojo, and as a result, they were ordered to pay Cocomelon $23.5 million. In that very same month, Super Jojo wiped their channel clean, deleting everything down to their profile picture. So while the channel is still technically active, Super Jojo could easily be considered the largest YouTube channel that's permanently banned.
Ravens and the Rams.
Nowhere to be one of the most dynamic playmakers they've got.
Jackson talking about, Odell's on his team too.
Gives it to him. Mitchell's averaging 9 yards every time he touches it after he didn't even play over the first. First third down, 3rd and 2. It's Edwards straight ahead, stopped by Hoyt, and he's short. Michael Hoyt, the converted interior defensive lineman, is for the ankle injury.
Shout out to Skream, my bad. And thank you, Flying Gorilla, for the whisper of the games and everything. All right, let's go.
Arizona, another big one against Cleveland last week, and he's got back-to-back carries here. Kyron Williams at first down to the 38.
6. Bro, and y'all stop tap.
5 insane details in EA Sports UFC 5. Number 1, fighters' faces will become increasingly cut, bruised, and swollen as they take and deal damage. They say that they'll have over 64,000 possible combinations of facial damage, which is pretty crazy to think of. Seems like they put a lot of effort into that. Number 2, they have finally added doctor stoppage, because realistic damage has realistic consequences. If a fighter sustains a significant injury, the referee can stop the fight and call in the ringside doctor to assess the damage, which goes in line with their effort to add a cumulative damage that shows both visually and in the outcome of the fight. Number 3, they added cinematic KO replay, which you've already seen some of throughout this video. Number 4, this year they will be adding alter egos to some fighters featuring their iconic looks from some of their biggest fights. And finally, at number 5, this year they went absolutely crazy for the pre-order bonus fighters, which include Muhammad Ali, Fedor Emelianenko, Mike Tyson, and Bruce Lee. 5 insane details in EA Sports UFC 5. Number 1, fighters' faces will become increasingly cut, bruised, and swollen as they take and deal damage. They say that they'll have over 64,000 possible combinations of facial damage, which is pretty crazy to think of. Seems like they put a lot of effort into that. Number 2, they have finally added doctor stoppage, because realistic...
Get me already, by the way, man. FY. On March 20 of 2021.
All right, boys, we have TJ against Wesley Gittins here. You can see the huge matchup differences right here, where TJ, $14,000 in winnings. That's from literally this tournament. And Wesley, $416,000 in earnings. Pretty big difference right here, but we're going to get into this game right now. And what we're going to see here is... TJ gets ball first. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Let's get into the actual meat of the game. TJ's going to get ball first, and he's gonna... Well, let's just see what happens. TJ's going to be the gun bunch formation. I am using a slightly different software to be able to write on my screen in this video. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, if it seems like it's too much of a hassle. If not, Windows, the thing I used before is no longer available to me. It's very frustrating. So for these breakdowns, just keep that in mind. I am trying to learn, like, these new hotkeys. And immediately, we're going to see Wesley on defense. And, again, TJ's on offense. And Wesley's in this 4-3-6-1 defense. So there's going to be a lot of blitzes coming through here. These guys coming at you, and you see these corners are actually backed off out here and out here. Now, what's going to happen a lot is that if Wesley goes coverage, this guy's going to drop into a 30-yard cloud flat. This guy's going to drop into a 30-yard cloud flat. This guy's a deep half. This guy's a deep half. And then this guy will drop into a curl flat at around 5 yards, okay? So keep that in mind right there.
I picked the software engineering program because they pay very well. It's a fast-paced industry. The boot camp in
Don't you ever compare me to Family Guy.
All the way back in 2006, an argument began between South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone and the Family Guy writing staff. An argument that would divide fans along battle lines to determine once and for all what qualifies as good comedy writing. Is the goal just to get a laugh, or to find an appropriate laugh for the story you're telling? And what even defines good storytelling? Is it about pacing, character development, and thematic continuity, or just that it keeps the audience engaged and entertained? In South Park's double episode Cartoon Wars, Trey and Matt attack Family Guy's writing style, insisting that the jokes are interchangeable and have nothing to do with the plot, and that the jokes themselves are just convoluted combinations of words that could easily be constructed by Manatee selecting random balls with words on them from a ball pit. The episodes were well received by audiences, but adored by other animated comedy teams. After the first episode aired, they received a thank you call from The Simpsons writers, who even went on to send them flowers, as Parker claims, "They hate Family Guy more than we do, even though they won't say it." And King of the Hill writers called them to tell them they're doing God's work by ripping on Family Guy. So there's something about Family Guy's writing style that frustrates other animated comedy writers, clearly viewing it as the entertainment equivalent of fast food.
There was this very animation solidarity moment where everyone did come together over hatred for Family Guy.
But is it just jealousy? Are they merely missing how skillful it is to actually write these gags? Or are they seeing something that fans don't? Let's find out. This is South Park versus Family Guy, a completely unnecessary examination. Now, as much as we all have our personal preferences, let's not pretend that both of these shows are not, at least on some level, funny. Both have been running for over 20 years for a reason. They have episodes with excellent premises, iconic characters, and laugh-out-loud moments. They even have a lot in common. But the writing teams, philosophies, skills, and styles are very, very different. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is Family Guy's style of comedy writing? Unlike most other animated series, Family Guy merges linear storytelling with realistic comedy asides and cutaway gags. This means that the Family Guy does tell a story, just like The Simpsons, American Dad, and South Park. But in the middle of its story, it may unexpectedly drift aside to have fun showing what other characters are doing, even though it's irrelevant to the plot. For example, here, the story starts with the Griffins competing in a boat race against Lois' father Carter, but then the starting gun is allegedly shot by recently paroled presidential assassin John Hinckley, and Jodie Foster randomly enters the gag to compliment his shooting skills.
Maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe I was wrong about all men.
Or here, the story involves Chris being the frontman for a rebellious rock group, and when he jumps into the crowd, he falls through the floor and unexpectedly discovers Mayor Adam West playing poker with a group of dogs. Or they may set up cutaway, in which one of the lead characters introduces a random memory, such as, like the time I did blank.
I haven't felt this out of place since that week I lived with Superman. You remember that time I gave you apple juice and told you it was wine? Like that time I out-farted Michael Moore.
Or stating an unusual idea, so they can then show it to the audience.
Saturday I'm giving Javier Bardem a haircut.
Oh, and if Cookie Monster calls, tell him I am not talking to him until he gets out of rehab.
Like inviting a turtle to a cocktail party.
All of this makes Family Guy fast-paced and feels more like a variety show of random jokes not committed to a single theme or storyline. Like any form of humor, the joke derives from defying the audience's expectations, sometimes through meta-humor, meaning they break the fourth wall and talk directly to the audience about the show they're watching.
No clip? Oh, thought we had a clip. Nope, okay.
Sometimes with surrealist asides that we couldn't possibly see coming. Sometimes through musical numbers. Sometimes through extreme inappropriate behavior, like grown-ups acting like children, or children acting like grown-ups. Sometimes through breaking away from the narrative for a long, drawn-out, realistic moment, like when Peter hurts his knee. Or dragging out a scene in which all the characters nod to one another for a full minute in their Star Wars episode. In these cases, the joke stems from satirizing traditional storytelling, which often leaves out these imperfect moments, like stubbing your toe, using the toilet, or fumbling a social interaction, which we all know happen in real life all the time. And the joke is that it goes on for so long, in a format that usually demands brevity, whereas here they're defying your expectations by essentially wasting the viewer's time, but in a way that hopefully becomes increasingly funny the longer it persists, as it's breaking convention. But despite what Parker and Stone claim, Family Guy usually has at least one, sometimes two storylines per episode, with a beginning, middle, and end, such as Peter gets a maid that Quagmire falls in love with, Brian and Stewie join the army, Lois becomes a model, and so on. The chaotic variety show structure of Family Guy is a stylistic choice, as Seth MacFarlane has proved that he can create fantastic animated series that follow a linear structure, such as American Dad. In essence, Family Guy's style is limitless. There's never a reason they cannot create or insert a joke into any story at any time to earn a laugh. But by contrast, South Park's comedy writing is a mixture of social commentary, shock value, and absurdism, told in a linear structure. A typical episode of South Park is written with a clear theme in mind, and the story and jokes never deviate from that theme. For example, if the episode is about getting older or psychics, every scene ties into that theme, moving the story forward, while finding humor through the absurd possibilities of the concept. Even in the Cartoon Wars episode, rather than outright telling you what they want you to believe, it gets expressed through the story and characters. For instance, Cartman wants to help Kyle get the Family Guy joke taken off the air, as once one joke is taken down, then every other group has a right to complain, and the show will sink, clearly reflecting their attitude to free speech and entertainment, that either everything is okay, or nothing is. And they also make the town decide that the best way to show they don't support the joke is to physically stick their heads in the sand. All of this ties neatly into the theme of free speech, and raises the question, what makes a joke acceptable or unacceptable? While simultaneously, Parker and Stone are ironically declaring Family Guy's jokes as unworthy, as they don't meet their personal standards. So it's tackling its theme from multiple perspectives. The benefit of writing each episode with a clear theme is that it's very easy to remember which episode each joke is from, as your mind can catalog it in context of the surrounding story. Whereas with Family Guy, most cutaways could be swapped with the cutaways from another episode, and it would make no difference whatsoever. Family Guy is harder to mentally catalog, as the actual storyline is often the least compelling part of the episode, as they have so many hilarious, unexpected, or memorable side pieces that your mind can't really remember what the point of any of it was. In Parker and Stone's rulebook, good comedic storytelling demands that your jokes are compatible with the story at hand, and not just random gags.
Whenever we're bringing in new writers, we always know gaggy writers, right? Which are the ones that, no matter what you're talking about and how deep of an issue or whatever character arc or whatever it is, they're just throwing out gag. And it's just like, yeah, and then he says this. And it's like, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. That has nothing to do with that character. You're just throwing out a gag randomly.
This means the key fundamental difference in their comedy stylings is that Family Guy is limitless. It can and will randomly insert anything it thinks is funny to keep the audience entertained and along for the ride. Whereas South Park views that as cheap and easy, that the real craft of writing is limiting yourself and ensuring that the jokes fit with the character arcs and theme. what does Seth MacFarlane say about cutaways?
It's the cutaways specifically that they really, I guess, don't think are... They don't see that as a legitimate form of comedy. And it's funny, those are the hardest things to write. You know, you're coming up with a premise that has to be set up and pay off in a short amount of time. You're just starting from scratch.
Not unlike Parker and Stone, MacFarlane believes his method of writing is the hardest, as it requires coming up with a premise and payoff independent of the story in order to earn the laugh. But is that true? Let's take this cutaway gag as an example. Lois is angry that Peter encouraged Joe to have an affair, and then randomly Stewie interjects.
Well, we've all made mistakes.
And we cut to Stewie walking through a door that says not an exit. And unexpectedly, a gorilla pops out and attacks him. So is MacFarlane's claim here that this premise on its own is hard to come up with and pay off in such a short time? If that's the case, it's a simple enough concept. We never get to know what's behind the not an exit door, as we don't get to use it. So why don't they specify what it is rather than what it isn't? So they illustrate that by putting something random and dangerous behind the doorway. Ha ha. Or is his claim that it's funnier to cut away than just being restricted to that one scene in that one story? Because if that's the case, then Parker and Stone's criticism is that the joke is completely irrelevant, and therefore acts as nothing but a distraction from your narrative's shortcomings. For instance, if you were reading George Orwell's 1984, and every now and then when he runs out of good material, he just spliced in random highlight segments from Animal Farm, would that detract from the story? Or be considered even better writing, because now it's all good material? Or is comedy writing for TV to be considered the same as stand-up comedy, where anything goes? That some comedians tie all their jokes together, and others just do one-liners? Does one require more skill than the other? Or is the only metric that matters how many laughs you actually get? South Park's claim is that Family Guy writers could not, or just did not, write a connecting scene between Lois and Peter's conversation about cheating to Stewie walking through a not an exit door and getting attacked by a gorilla, as surely that would be much more difficult, if not impossible. So by skipping those story beats, they've essentially cheated. That the jolt of shock and limitless nature makes the joke writing easy and the joke itself meaningless, as the only necessary connection to the cutaway was the word mistake. This is what Parker and Stone mean when they say the jokes are interchangeable, that you could randomly edit them into other Family Guy episodes without feeling out of place. Let's imagine South Park did the same thing. In the episode where Stan makes friends with a Mormon family, if he returned home and told his family about them, like in the normal script, and then instead of engaging in the story, Randy first responded with, well, we all make mistakes, and then we just cut to that funny scene from another episode where Randy tries to act sober when he's pulled over by the cops.
What seems to be the officer problem?
Would that scene be just as funny in any context? Or does it work best within the confines of that story about Randy drinking too much? It's certainly more memorable when it's in the context of a complete story, but as an independent gag, admittedly it is still pretty funny in either format. But just how often do Family Guy do this? Having researched 20 random episodes in the first 10 seasons, including TV segments that essentially act as cutaways, and not including random asides, they typically averaged 7 to 12 cutaway sketches per episode. And these cutaways can last anywhere between 5 seconds and 5 minutes, as they can have a quick smash cut gag, or do an extensive sequence, like Peter fighting the chicken for a full 5 minutes. So it's either a drive-by gag and it's gone, or a lengthy when will this ever end type of gag that becomes legendary just because of how long it's taking. But think about it, in a 21-minute episode, we are dedicating large portions of it to irrelevant gags. And let's be honest, some cutaways seem to be inserted just to waste the audience's time, like my personal pet peeve, the Conway Twitty cutaways, in which they insert a segment of the country singer performing for what feels like an eternity. They do this in more than 5 episodes, and I've yet to meet a single human being that actually finds it funny. In the most indefensible segment, they play a full song of his for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and the audience is just meant to endure this and somehow appreciate it as comedic genius. A quick cutaway gag that doesn't land is no big deal, as it's an immediate hit or miss and we move on. But when this joke doesn't land, it keeps not landing for almost 3 full minutes. Surely this is a prime example of what Parker and Stone mean when they say the writers need to work harder.
What makes me disappointed about Family Guy is I think it could be an amazing show. I think you can tell there's smart people working on it.
I don't think they work hard enough.
Yeah, they need to work harder.
As the audience tuned in to watch Family Guy, not just Conway Twitty performing for over 12% of the episode. Now, from what I can tell, my angry reaction is the joke, that you don't want it, but you're being forced to watch it. In which case, fine. But then McFarlane can't justify this with his earlier claim that these are actually harder jokes to write, as they require a complete setup and payoff of their own. Which leads to the next question. Are the cutaway sketches actually even funny? Or is it just so random and unexpected that it tricks your brain into thinking it is? Like this pointless cutaway in which Peter pitches Crystal Pepsi.
You won't be able to see him past your Pepsi. And then who's dead, huh? You're dead. Stabbed. Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah, that's funny, right? Because it's inappropriate to say that at a pitch meeting. But why interrupt the episode for this? Why Crystal Pepsi? Why any of it? Let's use this cutaway as an example. The setup is that Brian being hit must hurt worse than receiving a birthday telegram from Zinedine Zidane. The pop culture reference is that Zidane famously headbutted a fellow footballer in the World Cup. And the joke is imagining he did that as a birthday telegram. But okay. But in that moment, your brain connects the tiny bit of information you know about him, and the surprise of it happening at all. And then we're just on to the next scene, like it didn't even happen. South Park famously portrayed the Family Guy writing staff as a group of manatees randomly selecting a series of idea balls. Each ball contains a verb, noun, or pop culture reference and combine to make a cutaway gag. So for this cutaway, the balls would be hurt, old lady, birthday gift, and Zinedine Zidane. None of these words or ideas intrinsically belong in a sentence together, which is why the joke is funny. Or for this cutaway, farts, Michael Moore, competition, and music. But not all cutaways are irrelevant to the story. Sometimes they're thematically tied together, or at least relevant to the new setting the characters inhabit. And despite being random, it doesn't mean that these cutaway gags are never funny, as some of these segments are undeniably Family Guy at its best. But as much as we can focus on the differences between Family Guy and South Park, it cannot be denied that there are similarities.
I am nothing like Family Guy.
Both shows involve toilet humor, social commentary, musical numbers, and even some of the same gags, just told differently, or for different periods of time. In 2004, South Park created a joke that the detective doesn't arrest a serial killer with chopped off hands on his wall, as they're looking for left hands, and these appear to be right hands, as they're turned over with the thumb facing the other way. So rather than arresting the guy with chopped off hands on his wall, he leaves, as he's not the guy. But he is suspicious, so for a full minute, there's a montage of him researching in a lab, and even getting distracted along the way, until he realizes what the audience already knew all along. This is actually quite a Family Guy-style joke, where they drag out the gag for as long as possible. But the context of the story raises the stakes, so it's even funnier, as the detective is in a position of authority, and Cartman's life depends on him. So the joke lands harder, because it's not just wasting our time, it's wasting Cartman's precious time. Compare that to a similar joke Family Guy made in 2000. Peter is hoping to find one of 4 remaining tickets to the brewery tour. Now that one is gone, he has to figure out how many are left. So they do a quick 10-second montage of him at a lab, performing random tasks, and then when he returns from his research,
this many!
He doesn't even have the number, just holds up his hand with 3 fingers. The joke is quicker, and defies our expectations at the end, as Peter still doesn't know the number 3, and can only hold up his fingers, making all his research pointless, as he was initially counting on his fingers anyway. But joke is funnier. South Park's is dragged out for longer, but is part of the story and has higher stakes. Or Family Guy's quick 10-second gag, with a punchline achieving all the same greatness with no major stakes. There is no right and wrong, they're both just silly gags, but it's about how much you value its relevance to the storyline. But similarities go beyond just individual gags. Let's compare how each show tells essentially the same story, with virtually identical conclusions. South Park's Bloody Mary and Family Guy's Friends of Peter G. Both episodes involve a character getting arrested for being drunk, going to Alcoholics Anonymous, and at the end, concluding that moderation is key. In South Park, there's a total of 15 scenes. The boys learn about the concept of discipline in their karate class. Then Randy arrives drunk to drive the boys home, displaying he has no discipline, and gets arrested. In school, Randy brings shame to Stan by talking to the class about his drunk driving. In his AA meeting, Randy doesn't believe he's an alcoholic, but is told he's powerless and has a disease. Therefore, when Stan comes home, Randy is on the couch hopelessly drinking, playing the victim. They then introduce a bleeding statue of the Virgin Mary being discovered by a priest, which Randy sees on the news. Stan goes to the AA meeting to say you messed with my dad by saying he has a disease. He just needs discipline, which, as you can see, ties back to scene 1. The story progresses as a Vatican member comes to see the statue of Mary and calls it a miracle. So needing a miracle of his own, Randy now must see the statue and wants to drunk drive there. Stan stops him and is made drive instead. Randy sees a line of people wanting to be cured of serious diseases like cancer and elephantitis. He skips the queue as he now equates his alcoholism with their issues. The statue bleeds on his face, so Randy believes he's cured by a miracle. Therefore, he now acts deeply religious. Then when he has pizza with his AA group,
ready to take your business to the next level? Scale it with a commerce platform made for entrepreneurs. Shopify is specially designed to help you grow your business. With easy customizable themes that let you...
A TV reports that the Pope says it's actually not a miracle. So Randy loses faith and starts drinking again, as he believes he's powerless, linking back to his first AA meeting. But Stan stops him outside and says if it wasn't a miracle, then it proves that he did successfully quit drinking by himself. This teaches him that moderation requires discipline, again linking back to scene 1 at karate class, and we're done. So as you can see, each scene leads directly into the next and always progresses the story forward. The very first scene informs us of the lesson of the episode, and by having Randy believe anything he's told by authority figures, it allows Parker and Stone to provide real social commentary on the issue of drinking. The jokes are all based on Randy being a drunken fool, or playing the victim, or commenting on AA's explicit ties to organized religion. Now let's see how Family Guy dealt with the exact same theme and lesson. They did it in 17 scenes. Peter and Brian go to the cinema, and we get a funny aside about how studio logo intros are hard to decipher from the movie actually starting. They decide to get drunk and there's commotion, and they end up arrested by Joe. They go to court and are sentenced to 30 days of AA. Over breakfast, Brian expresses that AA is stupid. A random cutaway gag of an old poet writing the rap lyrics to Kanye West's Gold Digger. At their first AA meeting, Peter listens to other people's stories and then tells his own, which is a cutaway of him drunk driving through a water slide. Back to the AA meeting, there's talk of a higher power, which causes Brian to push back because he's an atheist, which earns another cutaway, showing how everyone was peaceful before religion came along. Then Lois asks about how it went. Brian and Peter complain about AA and think really what everyone needs is a place to drink shamelessly. So they bring booze to the next AA meeting and everyone gets drunk. Joe goes to the AA meeting due to a noise complaint, which ties Joe back in from the opening scene. They quickly convert the room to looking like a sermon for AA. Peter sings the upbeat song Mr. Booze for several minutes. After that, everyone is drunk outside, and Peter decides to drive home and crashes his car. Death comes and shows him where his life is headed if he keeps drinking, starting with him lining up his family to burn with a cigar, then sleeping with his unattractive boss Angela, then showing what it would be like if Peter never drank at all. Instead, he's lining up his family to hug them instead of burning them. But he no longer has Quagmire and Joe as friends, so he hates both outcomes and learns to drink in moderation. It ends with a cutaway gag of two seagulls at the dump drinking his thrown-away beers. There are several differences between both storytelling styles, even though they both ultimately conclude the same message. Firstly, South Park has no cutaways or asides, so we can cut out 5 of Family Guy's segments right off the bat, meaning less time is dedicated to the actual story. The next is that South Park introduces its core message from the very opening scene with the boys at karate class, whereas Family Guy has no message until it's shoehorned in at the end when Peter, like Ebenezer Scrooge, is shown what his life could be like if he doesn't stop drinking so much. They also don't give Brian any revelation or conclusion at all, even though he was attending AA too. Thirdly, tone-wise, Family Guy takes its theme much less seriously. Instead, it has a 3.5-minute song, Mr. Booze, that's very upbeat and playful for a song about quitting drinking. Whereas South Park delves into the psychology of AA's messaging and how it could be teaching its members a form of learned helplessness. But what this exercise does expose is that Parker and Stone's claim that Family Guy jokes are never relevant to the story is false, as whether it's a song or a cutaway, most of the episode is spent on the same theme. Really, Family Guy is spinning two plates at the same time, jokes that work within their story, and then when they don't have something good enough, divert to jokes outside their story. However, it's hard not to see Parker and Stone's point, that when some episodes have 12 cutaway gags, that it meaningfully detracts from the story. But does that therefore make it bad storytelling? Well, part of great writing is ensuring that everything works in tandem. When you read a great story, you don't necessarily realize it right away, but on closer inspection, usually the theme was subtly present on each page, so that the story makes sense to you on an emotional level without needing to be spelled out to you yet on an intellectual level. You feel something about the characters and the theme, and the story then may present to you something that either confirms that message or contrasts it, to make you feel like the outcome was even more of an injustice. In great comedy writing, typically it's that the premise alone is funny enough to create numerous comedic opportunities, and the characters are all so unique that you can select the right ones for each story to maximize its potential. So let's look at storytelling done right when there's more than one storyline. In TV writing, these are typically an A story and a B story. In South Park's You're Getting Old, the theme of the episode is about time changing your taste. We start with Stan turning 10 years old and receiving a Tweenwave album. His mother doesn't want him listening to that shitty music, whereas Randy used to want to be a rock star, so pretends to understand its merits. The story then diverges, with Randy trying to act younger than he is by liking modern music, while Stan can't help that he's suddenly hating all the stuff that he used to love. But Randy's refusal to let go of his dream highlights that actually he and Sharon have lost interest in one another over time and grown apart. And now Stan, who has already been losing friends, has to watch his family break apart as they're changing too, all triggered from that album he got as a gift in the opening scene. Stan is the A story, Randy is the B story, they both meet at the beginning, separate, and then merge at the end. Or in the case of Miss Teacher Bangs a Boy, the A story is that Ike begins a romantic relationship with his teacher, and the B story is that Cartman becomes the hall monitor at school. And when Kyle catches Ike and lets it slip to Cartman that they've been making out in the hallways, the stories merge, and now Cartman makes it his mission to stop them. Not because what she's doing is morally wrong, but because it's against the school rules that he's enforcing. And the school rules and people's differing attitudes to them are the theme of both storylines, so it's all neatly tied together. Nice. This isn't unique to South Park. Family Guy can do this too. In Season 3's Brian Wallows and Peter Swallows, the A story is that Brian falls into depression from loneliness and winds up caring for a cranky elderly woman who he falls in love with, while the B story involves Peter growing a beard that attracts swallows to use as a nest. He can't get rid of them at first, but then falls in love with them and won't let them leave. And then thematically, the two stories mirror one another at the end, as Brian has to learn to let go of Pearl as she passes away from old age, and Peter has to learn to let go and release the birds back into the wild, which is beautiful thematic continuity. But is that really how most Family Guy episodes are written? For the first 3 seasons, often yes, although most episodes only have one story per episode, but after that, rarely. For example, in Season 4, Lois becomes a model, while Brian gets worms and has to work for Stewie.
Nigga asked for the ball all game just to fucking miss every single possession. Shit make no sense, bro. I ain't do nothing. I got all the points. What are you talking about? Bro, what the fuck? Whatever, bro. That suck. I'm Dookie. You got the worst teammate grade on the court. Nigga weak as fuck. I got more points than you. What are you talking about? With less touches. With less touches. With less touches. Bro, what are you talking about? I passed you the ball last time when you was wide open. You didn't shoot it. Nigga stood there like a dumbass. Nigga, you're not a shooter, bro. See, look, there's a nigga in front of him, wide open. Excellent. What are you talking about? Nigga don't know how to play the game. The game been out for how long? You still don't know how to shoot. Nigga missed that. Whatever, bro. You just suck. You just suck, bro. Y'all Duke ass. Yo, shitty Duke ass, nigga. Whatever, bro. You fucking suck. These niggas suck too, though. That's crazy. Shitty booty ass. Bro, did not sell, bro. GG, bro. Holy shit. Weak ass niggas.
There is no connection between these two storylines. They start separate, end separate, and that's it. Or in season 5, Brian and Stewie join the army, while Chris joins a rock band. These stories have nothing linking them together. No theme, no plot, no nothing. But what is interesting is how Family Guy's writing has evolved over the last 15 years. I researched 3 episodes in season 20, and to my surprise, there were very few cutaway jokes at all. I counted just 2, 4, and 3, so they've cut the number of cutaway jokes in half. So does this mean that the storytelling is better? Emotionally, perhaps, but entertainment-wise, not really. There is more time dedicated to the emotional experience of each character, but if anything, the show feels flatter than before. The characters are often just sitting around talking to one another instead of being more active or doing something funny. And although every episode has an A and B story, none of them are connected whatsoever. This could just be the result of being on air for over 20 years. But depending on your personal preference, you could say that this is evidence that Parker and Stone were wrong, that the show is much funnier with random cutaway gags. Or you could claim it's evidence that they were totally right, that once you strip away the shiny glitter of random cutaways, that the writers have little to offer comedically. So in conclusion, were Trey Parker and Matt Stone's claims that Family Guy is poorly written accurate? Well, on the front of the cutaway jokes being interchangeable, the answer is yes, they usually are. And are the cutaway jokes just random combinations of words that could be created by manatees selecting balls? Sometimes yes, but that doesn't mean that the jokes themselves are never funny. And are Family Guy's jokes never relevant to the story? No, they often are. They're just...
Bro, you're so weird, bro. Bro, why you gotta be so fucking weird? He's a weirdo ass nigga, bro. Have you green yet? That shit yellow, like your teeth, nigga. Dumbass nigga. Cause you see how you hating on me, bro. That shit wasn't green. You niggas suck too. his butt, bro. Look at you, bro. You're not doing nothing. It's about to get your shit swatted. Can you green it? Hell no. 2 seconds left, bro. We did not a damn thing. Had that shit for like 14 seconds. Whatever, bro. Let me see that bitch, bro. These niggas are tripping. Oh my god, good shot. Look at that shit. It's like you scared of your man or something, bro. Stay down. Dumb ass nigga. Oh my god. Come in here, reach. Someone cut. That shit beat, bro. Nigga laughing like you're not the reason we lost. Whatever, bro. Whatever, bro. Look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. Not a damn thing, bro. Not even ass, you just you. That's just you. Whatever, bro. You sure as hell want what we want me to. Man, you would not want what we want to. You want what we want. Exactly. You don't want what we want. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Doodle eye nigga.
Blended with irrelevant jokes, which makes the story itself less memorable. And finally, does Family Guy tell a story with a beginning, middle, and end? Yes, but sometimes that story feels secondary to the gags, and therefore the character development feels unearned. Ironically, in South Park's Cartoon Wars, they depicted Family Guy as the show that would get into trouble for showing the Prophet Muhammad. But in 2010, it was actually Parker and Stone who found themselves in trouble over the exact same issue in their 200th episode. And Seth MacFarlane got to commentate on the sidelines, revealing his personal feelings on whether or not jokes can go too far.
There's no way to know. If it were me and I was in this situation, it was like, well, is this worth getting shot? Right. Is it the funniest joke anyone's ever written?
But
okay, Fox, if you want to censor this.
Which again speaks to the difference in both writing philosophies. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are more principled, that either everything is okay or nothing is okay. but that there are rules to storytelling that need to be obeyed to ensure you're telling a worthwhile story. This is a more puritanical view, that storytelling has a higher purpose and responsibility. Whereas Seth MacFarlane is more pragmatic. Whatever works to keep the audience entertained is fair game. And if some jokes are going to cause real-world trouble, then who cares? Cut them. After all, they're just jokes. But perhaps he only feels that way, as his jokes are more interchangeable and less intentioned. So after all of this, what do you think? Is it really worse comedy writing to include funny jokes that aren't relevant to the story? Or is it better comedy writing to complete a linear story with thematic continuity, but fewer funny jokes? The easy answer that most people will give is both, but the real question is, what's more important? And ultimately, in the battle between South Park and Family Guy, who do you think is better?
Hey, bro, get the fuck up out the mic, bro. Fuck wrong with you?
If you enjoy content like this and want to see more of it, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, as it really does make a difference to how much content I can bump out. Or if you can't afford that, then simply like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below to help the algorithm do its thing.
Looking for an unforgettable live streaming experience? Welcome to Bigo, where connections come alive. Anytime, anywhere. Bigo brings you the thrill of real-time connections and interactive engagement. Miles, thank you so much for the magical. With Bigo, you can discover a world of diverse content that caters to your unique interests right at your fingertips. Whether you are the creator, streaming, or watching live streams, a community where real connections and unforgettable moments happen.
It's time to flex.
What's good? This is Smiles, and this is my first live with Bigo at Skream. Sugar Live.
Download Bigo now and embark on an immersive live streaming experience like never before.
That's supposed to be too hard.
I thought it was a brain.
Broccoli. I see it. Thanks to Mattel for sponsoring today's video. What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer. And you know, on this channel, I include my family a lot. They're a big part of everything we do here. And I've seen some of you guys say you like seeing the family-oriented tech that we feature on the channel sometimes. So today we got something interesting. We've got Pictionary versus AI. So this right here is the Pictionary we all know and love, but it uses AI and tech to take it to another level. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, what does Pictionary and AI even have to do with each other? Well, let's pop the box open and talk about this cool new version of Pictionary. That a knife? Sorta.
That's so stupid. Oh my god. No way you said twice, though. You niggas are so fucking lame, bro. Oh my fucking god, bro. Niggas lame as fuck, bro.